Hey guys, welcome to a new episode, and in this episode we're going to weigh the buggy and we're going to make these beautiful pedals for the pedal box, which are completely without any welding. So let's just do it. And to weigh the buggy we are going to use this scale. This one is maybe most of the time used for caravans or trailers, and when you put it on, as you can see, you can weigh the tow hook and the wheels. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put it under all four wheels and just add the weights to each other, and then we have the total weight of this buggy. And I'm doing this because I'm just curious, as well as I want to make the correct engine choice. Because we have a 1000cc engine coming out of the homemade cross buggy and a 600cc engine. And of course we want the lightest, but we want just enough power as well. So I want to know how much this thing weighs so we can choose the correct amount of power and have a as light as possible buggy. So mind, there is not an engine or transfer case of the drive axles installed yet, but that doesn't really matter because that's exactly the point why we weigh it. So I drove the buggy over here because we need as smooth as possible surface. Well, this is the smoothest I can get right now. So we'll take the scale, put it right in front of our front wheel, just like this. Push the wheel onto the scale and then just can be weighed. So push the wheel onto it. It says 125 kilos. I don't know how accurate this thing is, because without the front differential I could lift this thing up in my own, and I'm not that strong. Because the thing is this side is 125 kilos, the other side will be as well, and the back will be even heavier because there's more tubing. But we'll just weigh it and maybe extract a bit, because to be honest I don't really believe that scale. Because look at this, I moved the scale under the wheel and it still says 20 kilos. So we'll just extract 20 kilos and I think that will be fair. $110. And that's quite crazy because there's absolutely nothing on the right side that isn't on the left side, and vice versa. So that's a bit odd. But if you think if we would extract the 20 kilos I talked about in the beginning, then it would make sense, because 125 means 20 kilos is 105, which is close to 110. Anyway, if you press total, it says 250 kilos on that side, and this doesn't work. But if you do our quick maths, 3 times 105 is 315, plus another 110 kilos from the right wheel is 425 kilos. Which, to be honest, makes this quite a heavy, chunky boy. But it's not that crazy if you consider there are 2 differentials in already and quite a heavy battery. And this buggy is way bigger than that buggy. That buggy weighed in total with the engine 450 kilos. This buggy is way longer, has a differential extra, and is way wider as well. So I think 425 kilos is a fair amount. Don't think we're off that with quite much, but yeah, to be honest, heavier than I expected. I expected it to be somewhere around 350 kilos, or almost 100 kilos heavier than we expected. So that made me think and doubt as well, because what engine should we choose? Should we take the 600cc engine with the 105 horsepower, or should we stick with the 1000cc engine, which has 135 horsepower? With mine, that engine weighs 60 kilos and this engine weighs over 90 kilos. This is a really heavy engine. I can't pick it up by myself. This one I can pick up quite easily by myself, so that's, yeah, for maintenance way easier. I think you should let me know in the comments which engine you would pick. The lighter, less powerful engine, which is of course a bit of shame, but the heavy and way powerful, more powerful engine. To be fair, that engine just have 30 more horsepower than that one. So I don't think, of course it's 1/3 of the total power, because that one's on 5 against on 35, but I don't think it will make that much of a difference when the engine is almost 30 kilos heavier. Sorry. To be fair, I think I know what I want. I think I'm going to pick 600cc engine because, yeah, like I said, it's just way easier for myself to maintain. If I ever have to pull the engine out, it's way easier than I have to do that with that engine. So, sorry, CBR 1000 engine. I think it's going to be this one. Unless, of course, one of you has a great suggestion and something I didn't think about because, well, I'm not the smartest guy ever. So, maybe you have something like a valid opinion, like, wow, wait, you need the 1000cc engine because. Right, yeah, one more side note about this engine. This engine hardly fits in the frame. Well, that engine fits just really nice, and it's probably made for that engine. So that's another important factor why I probably go with the 600cc engine. I'll just wait for your reaction and see what you guys think. But I think it's a pretty obvious choice.
Several days later.
So that brings us to the pedals, and as you can see, I have a lot of laser cut plates right here. And I will start on this one to see if it's any good. And it actually is. It is any good. This will be the base of the pedals. This is where your foot is planted. And this right here will be the pedal, and it will be mounted in there. But first you have to bend it. That's why I made all these slots in there. It's easier to bend. But before we start bending this, we have to tap these holes, because then this plate can get mounted on there. You just screw it on without a nut. So first step, these are 5.1mm holes, and it's very easy to make a thread. And yes, I'm just making these threaded holes with a power tool. And there probably will be a lot of people that will be screaming like, oh, you need to do it with a hand tool. But as long as you're gentle with it and you just use it very slow, you'll all be fine. As you can see, I take this M6 one. It actually goes in quite easy. And you can see, first one is not the best, but this is quite swirl in here. This is kind of wave. But in the end, the thing that really matters is that this distance is correct and fit in here. And you know what they say about pancakes as well, the first one always gets wrong. So now we can slide this nut bolt and these two bearings through it. And as you can see, there's kind of a bit of play in it right now. See, there quite some space. But the thing is, there will become a spacer on this bolt, and that will equal everything out and get them right distance in between. And that can just be quite easily a small piece of aluminium tubing with the right inside diameter, and then we're all fine. So I went on with a foot pedal and I countersunk these holes, as you can see, and they actually fit quite good. So now let's bolt them onto the actual pedal. So there you have it. This is our first pedal. Like I said, not the best, but still do a great job. Almost finished. And yeah, as you can see, very nice. No welding required. It has these holes on the base plate, so you can easily adjust it to the length of the driver. So it's not that much of adjustment, but you can just at least 4 centimeters with that slot, and of course the 4 holes, which are equally long as that slot. And we need a spacer for that, and these holes are actually for the brake master cylinders, which I'm probably going to steal off this buggy. There is one at the clutch pedal, and I'm going to take the other one off the bike. I have to buy for that other engine, and they will mount it somewhere like there. And there's 2 on there, so this will be the clutch pedal, brake pedal over there, and the throttle pedal in the most right position. So now we can make the other 2 pedals. So let's do it, and I'll be back when those are finished. These bases aren't actually as hard to fold as the pedals, but yeah, that's because this is 1 solid piece. And then here we have this hole, and thing. I don't know either why I made it. It just looks cool, but it's now actually a pain in the ass because I can't fold it easily. But this quite looks like a taco shell to me because it's just lettuce, beef, tomato and cheese, and we're all set. Don't think it will taste that nice. So I found a new method. Yeah, a bit of amateuristic probably, but as you can see, I clamped it onto the workbench. You can't call this a workbench really, but I clamped it on there, and now all the pressure is equally on this plate, which means there won't be any wobbling or anything. So it's now dead straight. As you can see, I did it on this side as well. So this one looks very good. But in all my excitement, I forgot to make a thread in these holes. So the second one is installed as well. As you can see, there's next to no gap, which is way better than the other one. But I think it will still need some tube here in the middle that will act as a spacer. So that's actually all 3 pedals done. It's now resting on this bolt, but it doesn't really matter. All 3 pedals are done. Like I said, this one's a bit worse than this one. These two are way better than this one. But overall, look quite good. Quite very smooth. Like I said, there's a bit of tubing in between there. Go back, mate. Anyway, these look way better than the old one, because this was like I needed 3-4 attempts to let it work the best it could, and even now it doesn't really work. As you can see, there's a difference in all 3. They're all welded. The welds aren't as good as I would have imagined and maybe hoped. So anyway, very happy with how these turned out, and really like those. Like I said, I need a brake last cylinder right now, and then we can start working on the brakes and the throttle cable. But that probably will be in another episode because I don't have the parts to do it yet. So as you can see, I put the spacer in here. And as you can see, this is just a tube, aluminium tube with the 8mm inside. Cut it on the correct length, and there's absolutely no more play. So that's very nice to see. And the pedal will stand up right now. So there's a bit more friction, so it's stand up right now. And then into the frame, it's going to look something like this. With the drive shaft in between the clutch and the brake pedal, and the brake pedal and the throttle pedal on the right side. There you go. Looks quite nice. Didn't mount those yet. What I did is I mounted these master brake cylinders. 2 of them, one for the front brakes, one for the rear brakes. And with this pedal box made, I think it's quite a nice ending to this video. If you like this video, leave a like. And if you don't want to miss anything about this cross buggy, subscribe to my channel. And until then, I'll see you next one. Bye.